Welcome back to Chapter 2 of your journey with your 4-hour retirement blueprint in your 30s. In this episode, titled Know Your Retirement Number, Simple Math Anyone Can Do, we're going to break down how you can easily calculate a ballpark retirement goal using the Rule of 25. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clearer picture of what you need to aim for to secure your future. Let's dive in. About half of Americans have no idea how much money they actually need to retire, even high earners. You're in your 30s, working hard, saving something, but here's the twist. Without a clear retirement number, your strategy's basically a road trip with no destination. Roughly 1 in 5 Americans has more than $500,000 saved for retirement, and yet, if you look at what typical retirees actually spend, many will need over $1 million to maintain their lifestyle. That gap between what people have and what they'll likely need is where stress, delay, and painful cutbacks come from. In your 30s, it's easy to assume you'll just figure it out later, but later has a habit of arriving faster than expected. In this episode, we'll take your retirement number from fuzzy to concrete using simple math you can run on a napkin at lunch. No spreadsheets, no fancy software, just a way to connect the life you want in your 60s to the dollars you're putting away in your 30s. By the end, you'll know whether you're broadly on track, a bit behind, or need a serious course correction, and you'll understand what levers you can pull now while time is still on your side. Here's where things get interesting in your 30s. The numbers start to be big enough to matter, but small enough that every decision still moves the needle. A raise, a move to a cheaper city, deciding to rent versus buy, each choice quietly reshapes what your retirement number needs to be. Instead of thinking about some distant $1 million goal, we'll zoom in on the cash flow you'll actually live on later. Think of today's lifestyle as a draft version. You'll tweak which parts you want to keep, shrink, or upgrade, and then translate that into a simple, target annual income in retirement. Here's where the mystery part of retirement starts to disappear and the math finally shows up. The core idea behind the quick and dirty calculation is the Rule of 25. It comes from flipping a 4% withdrawal rate on its head. 1 divided by 0.04 equals 25. Instead of asking, how much can I safely take from my savings each year, you ask, how much do I need saved so that 4% of it covers my yearly spending? Answer, about 25 times that spending. So if future you wants $60,000 a year from your portfolio, you're looking at roughly $1.5 million. Want $40,000? Call it $1 million. Want $100,000? You're in $2.5 million territory. The multiplication is simple. The tricky part is choosing the spending number that feels realistic. One way to get there, start from your current life and tweak. Look at today's annual outflows and mentally strip out things that may vanish later: student loans, childcare, a mortgage that's scheduled to end. Then add in things that might grow: more travel, higher healthcare costs, helping kids or parents. You're not hunting for perfection, just a good enough estimate you're comfortable multiplying by 25. Under the hood, that 4% figure is based on historical research using a balanced mix of stocks and bonds over 30-year retirements. In most past periods, withdrawing an inflation-adjusted 4% didn't deplete the portfolio. Not all, but most, which means this is a probability tool, not a guarantee. If you're very risk-averse, you might prefer 3.5%, which implies a multiplier of about 29 instead of 25. Think of those multipliers, 25, 29, maybe even 33, as sliders. Higher multiplier equals more safety but a bigger target. Lower multiplier equals more risk that a bad market sequence forces cutbacks later. The other quiet complication is that the 4% is what you withdraw from investments before taxes and fees, not what lands in your bank account. If some of your income will be taxable, your portfolio has to support both your spending and the tax bill on those withdrawals. For now, keep it simple. Pick a rough annual spending number, choose a conservative or moderate multiplier that matches your comfort level, and let that product be your working target. In later episodes, we'll stress test and refine it, but you need a first draft before you can improve it. Think of this step less like solving an equation and more like sketching a draft painting. You're blocking in shapes and colors, not fussing over tiny details yet. Start by trying on a few future you lifestyles the way you'd test different outfits. For one version, assume you downshift, smaller home, paid-off car, hobbies that don't cost much. What does a low-key year feel like? How often are you eating out, traveling, upgrading gadgets? Jot a rough annual dollar guess for that scenario. Then flip it. Design a treat-yourself version with bigger trips, more generous gifting, maybe earlier work exit. Capture that as a second number. Now you've got a range rather than a single point, a conservative lifestyle floor and a more comfortable ceiling. Instead of obsessing over which is right, notice the trade-offs. The pricier vision might mean working longer, saving more aggressively now, or planning part-time income later. The leaner version might fit an earlier exit, but with tighter boundaries. Both are valid. Your job is to notice which one you keep mentally drifting toward when you're honest with yourself. Staring at your number can feel like standing at the base of a mountain, but that mountain isn't fixed. Over the next few decades, tax rules, Social Security, and even life expectancy will keep shifting the landscape. Rather than carving your plan in stone, treat it like a map you redraw every few years. As your income grows, debts shrink, or family plans evolve, that updated map helps you adjust pace. Faster when the trail is smooth, slower when life throws in a few unexpected switchbacks. Treat this first draft number like training wheels, not a verdict. As your 30s unfold, promotions, moves, kids, business ideas, revisit it the way a doctor adjusts a treatment plan. Small tweaks, more data, better fit. Your challenge this week: run the numbers, pick a provisional target, and note one concrete habit you'll test to move closer. This was Owl Up, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!